We're going to be talking about our topic, which is culturally classroom management. Our topic have four components, which is overviewing classroom management, culturally responsive classroom management, maintaining classroom control, and managing student behavior. And we have our objective, which is at the end of the class, expecting to have knowledge and how to manage a classroom and learn how to prevent reduce student behavior. The last is, at the end of the classroom, everyone should know the importance of maintaining classroom control. So, the first topic is overviewing. Will be going to be tackled by Ms. Ruela and Obilenias.
For one, me and Miss Odivilas, we will tackle all about classroom management.
Classroom management. It is about the rules and regulation inside the classroom. And ito ay halimbawa ng mga estudyante na kailangan nilang sundin ang mga tungkulin na dapat nilang gampanan sa loob ng silid-aralan. At sa classroom management ay may tatalakayin kami iba't ibang mga types patungkol dito. At una ay meron na sinasabing authoritarian management.
Una, ang authoritarian classroom management style. Sabi ni authoritarian classroom management style, ang guro ang siyang nagkukontrolado sa silid-aralan. At siya din ang gumagawa ng mga tuntunin na dapat sundin ng mga mag-aaral. Kapag hindi sumunod ang mga mag-aaral sa ginawang tuntunin ng isang guro, ay pwede silang parusahan. Second, authoritative classroom management style. Ito ay ang pagbalanse ng pagkontrol ng isang guro at ang paglahok ng isang mag-aaral, kung saan ang hinihikayat ng mag-aaral na lumahok ang kanilang kapwa mag-aaral at sumunod sa mga tuntunin sa silid-aralan. Third, permissive classroom management style.
Dito ipinapakita ng mga estudyante na sila ay nagsisikap sa kanilang pag-aaral. Kagaya na lang na binibigay ng mga guro sa kanilang proyekto na dapat gawin nila ito sa kanila lang, mag-isa lang, na hindi umaasa sa ibang tao, lalo na sa mga kaklase. At ito yung mga estudyante na mas hinahangaan ng mga guro.
Fourth, indulgent classroom management style, kung saan ang mag-aaral ay may kalayaan na ipahayag ang kanilang sarili sa silid-aralan ng malaya at makipagtulungan sa kapwa nila mag-aaral. There are 6 teachers adopting the following classroom management. First, student ownership.
Sa student ownership naman, dito natin makita na ang mga estudyante ay may kanya-kanyang sariling kaalaman na sila lang ang may alam at nasa kanila lang. Dito nakikita na ang mga estudyante na hindi lahat ng itinuturo ng mga guro ay andun din sa kanilang bawat isa, kundi meron silang sariling mga kaalaman o pagiging educated sa isang estudyante na nasa sa kanila lang.
Student choice. Nangangahulugan lamang ng pagbibigay sa mga mag-aaral ng mga pagpipilian kung paano o kung ano ang kanilang natututunan.
Kagaya na lang ng isang proyekto na naiisip o idadagdag sa kanilang mga nalalaman o napag-uusapan.
For example, kung anong yung gagamitin, lapis back o ballpen, o by yourself or by partner. Third, community, kung saan malaya siyang ilahad ang kanyang sarili sa kapaligiran, ang kanyang mga natutunan. Conflict resolution.
Dito naman nakikita natin na ang isang tao ay alam na niya i-handle ang isang problema at alam na din niya itong solusyonan. At pwede niya rin itong i-apply sa ibang tao ang kanyang mga
Iba naman ka.
at pwede niya rin niya itong i-apply sa pagresolba ng mga problema.
Sa pagresolba.
At pwede niya rin itong i-apply ang kanyang mga natutunan sa pagresolba ng problema.
Fifth, natural consequences. Natural consequences are outcomes that happen as a result of behavior that are not planned or controlled. For example, ang isang mag-aaral ay naglalaro ng isang matutulis na bagay at sa paglalaro ng mga matutulis na bagay bigla siyang nasugatan at ang kanyang kaklase ay nakita siyang nasugatan dahil sa paglalaro ng mga tulis na bagay. May isip ng kanyang kaklase na bawal paglaruan ng mga tulis na bagay dahil may masama itong kainatnan. And lastly, restitution.
Restitution is the philosophy of discipline that is based on intrinsic motivation, is created by Diane Dawson and based on William Glasser's control theory principles. Restitution helps develop good self-discipline and help teachers to become a better managers and mentors. We learn to become the student or the teacher we want to be even in difficult situations. For example, as a student, we have to develop their self-discipline and to learn them how to help other people or ang pagsasauli ng mga gamit na kanilang pagmamayari. Ang self-discipline ay nakakatulong din ito upang makagawa ka ng mabuti, hindi lang bilang isang tao, at bilang estudyante ng inyong paaralan.
At yun lang po. Salamat.
The component of our topic, which is culturally responsive classroom management. So, culturally responsive classroom management, in simple word, it is the decision making about environment children's of cultural diversity. So, paggawa ng desisyon tungkol sa kapaligiran sa pamamagitan ng iba't ibang kultura. One of the best example of this is classroom setup. We need to ensure that every student will be comfortable in a classroom or walang matatapakan na binitan. So, in natural extension of culturally responsive teaching, we uses student background, blending of social experiences or pagbigay karanasang panglipunan, prior knowledge and learning style in daily lesson or mga estilo ng pagtuturo sa pang-araw-araw na aral. So that's all about my coverage. The next topic will be discussed by Miss Zamora. I hope you learned. Thank you. That's all.
In this, teachers need to examine how current policies and practices and discipline might discriminate against certain children. It means kailangan yung isang guro ay aware sa kung ano yung hindi na hindi niya madidiskrimina yung isang bata kasi may sinabi siya. Ganun. So, form a study circle to examine structures and policies and whether they are fair to everyone. They can look what they see as inappropriate student behavior and discuss if they actually are incidents of student resistance to what they see as an unfair system. Sabi ko nga, kailangan alam ng isang guro kung saan banda o paano siya hindi hindi niya ma-offend yung bata. Ganon. Create a critical social justice classroom grounded in the lives of children that involves dialogue, questioning problem posing, critiquing bias and attitudes, and teaching activism for social justice. Kailangan bilang isang guro, kailangan alam mo bilang isang guro, kailangan malaman ng mga estudyante mo na kung ano yung mga classroom rules, because it is important being a student na bilang estudyante pa din. Kailangan alam ko kung ano ang pwede at hindi pwede sa isang silid-aralan dahil malilimitahan ang mga galaw at at kung paano ka magbigay ng, alam mo na, yung mga ginagawa natin na minsan nasosobrahan dahil sa we just want to do it. Just yung hindi ka aware kasi hindi mo alam na bawal pala. So, the fourth essential element is the ability and willingness to use culturally appropriate management strategies. Yung magulang, hindi lang sila yung may karapatan na gabayan yung mga bata. Kasi, lalo na sa mga decision makings na lalo na sa mga bata kasi hindi pa sila ganon kalalim mag-isip. Like, may mga chances, always the chances na mabababaw pa. So, you as a teacher, kailangan mong gabayan sila. Lalo na sa mga nakapaligid nila na it is normal na magkaroon ng pagkakaiba. Kasi, yun nga, normal sa lipunan ang pagkakaiba ng tao. So, world maps that highlight student countries of origin. So, yun na nga, diba, sa elementarya, pinag-aaralan natin yung iba't ibang lahi, hindi lang sa Pilipinas, kundi sa labas din ng bansa. Kasi, we students needed to be aware. So, sign or banners can welcome students in a different languages they speak. So, kailangan din ipaalam or iparamdam natin sa mga estudyante na welcome sila lahat kahit anumang pagiging iba meron siya at kung anong lingwahe pa ulahi man ang kanyang meron. Before we proceed to the essential elements of CPRCM, I want to share you that the goal of these essential elements of CRCM is to for the students behave appropriately from a sense of personal responsibility, not from a fear of punishment or the reward you would give, and also to train them to have a safety environment, especially in school. So it means that gagawa sila ng mga assessment na binigay mo or activities, homeworks, gagawa sila o sasagot because they know at alam nila kung ano ang tinuro mo bilang isang guro. At gagawa sila nun because alam nila at hindi lang takot na hindi makasagot or may ibibigay kang reward, but because they know what is the discussion all about and may alam sila kung paano yung gawin. Also, sa environment and safety nila, kailangan na nitong i-practice because it is needed to students that they have a safety environment, especially in school. Kasi doon sila araw-araw pumupunta. Doon sila nakikipag-socialize at iba-ibang tao ang nakakasalamuhan nila. Iba-ibang kaibigan, iba-ibang kaklase, iba-ibang guro, at kung ano pa man. So now, we will discuss you about the first essential elements of CRCM. It is called the recognition of one's own cultural lens and biases. It's a helpful step for all students, for all teachers, is to explore and reflect upon where their assumptions, attitudes, and biases come from, and to understand that how they view the world can lead them to misinterpretation of behaviors and equitable treatment of culturally different students. As a teacher, you should know the background of your students. Yes, it is indeed. Kasi dito nagpapalagay ang saloobin at pagkiling at maunawaan na kung paano nila tinitingnan ang kapaligiran na maaaring mantong sa kanila sa maling interpretasyon ng mga pag-uugali at hindi pantay na pagtrato sa mga mag-aaral na magkaibang kultura. We have these teachers na they can consider the uniqueness and the diversity of their students. So, as a teachers, you should know and be considerate the diversity of every student, especially when it comes to religions, culture, of whatsoever. So write personal identity story to explore how their identities have been socially constructed and how they fit into a multicultural world. I remember when I was in elementary, I have this teacher na pinagawa kami ng para siyang kwento, pero siya iba kasi ikaw gagawa ng title mo. Yes, your title. I was in grade 4, 5 or 6. Ikaw gagawa ng kwento mo kasi it's your ikaw may gawa title, anong background ng yung mga grandparents ko, yung parents ko, yung mga trabaho ng mga kapatid ko, like ganon. So, at kung saan sila lumaki, ganun. Kung paano kami napadpad dito sa Samar, sa Catbalogan Samar, ganun. So, in that, siguro, way yun yung teacher na malaman kung ano yung kultura namin, kultura ko, at kung ano yung mga bagay na mag-fit sa environment ko, especially dito sa city. See where they fit on the cultural proficiency, receptivity scale, a tool designed for self-reflection that will also enable teachers to examine the policies and practices of their school. I also remembered when I was in elementary, siguro nung I was grade 2 or grade 3, hindi siya transferees, pero siguro siya lipat sa section namin, but nasa same school kami, pero nilipat siya sa section namin kasi yun yung request ng nanay, kasi ang sabi daw hindi sila nagkakaintindihan ng teachers sa bata because this child have this mga behavior na hindi talaga gusto ng teacher because of her wordiness na sinasabi nila. But then when our teacher approaches her, okay naman. Like nag-intindihan naman sila, okay naman daw. So it just in understanding talaga na at kung paano mo dadalhin yung bata. Ganun. So, the second concept of CRCM is knowledge of students' cultural background. Dito, kailangan ng mga guro ay magkaroon ng kaalaman sa mga kultura na pinagmulan ng mga estudyante at pagkakaroon ng pangkalahatang kaalaman tungkol sa isang kultura, ng mga pananaw tungkol sa pag-uugali, mga tuntunin na kagandahang asal, at mga estilo ng komunikasyon at pag-aaral. Dahil kailangan ng isang guro na maging maingat na huwag bumuo ng mga sabi-sabi at kailangan kumilos bilang kasi pagka gumawa ka ng sabi-sabi as you are the teacher, parang magiging isa siyang firewall laban sa mga hindi na aangkop na referral na special na education. Form study groups to read cultural responsive literature that reflects the identities of the students and their classroom. When I was elementary na, so yun, parang pinagawa kami ng para siyang form, para siyang na parang na sana interview yun with our teacher, ng teacher namin sa every student. But kasi to remember, Friday night nun, kinulangan siya ng oras. So, yung ibang hindi niya na-interview, pinagawa niyang homework. Nag-photocopy ata kami nun, or kami mismo yung nagsulat ng mga questions na magre-replika at babasehan namin kung para malaman yung pinagmunan namin, kung saan kami pinanganak, kung palipat-lipat ba kami or not, parang ganon, something. So, work with their students to develop family history projects in which students explore their cultural backgrounds and share them with the class. Yun nga, after that, share namin, one by one, share namin sa buong klase. Not for our teacher only, but to whole class. Conduct home visits and consult with parents and community members to gain insight. Some areas teachers can explore include family backgrounds, structure, education, and the personal relationship styles. Ito na yung kung anong klaseng pamilya, may klaseng pamilya yung isang bata. Discipline, paano siya madisiplina ng mga parents niya. Time and space, religion, food, health and hygiene, history, traditions and holidays. Kung paano sila mag-celebra ng traditions. Kung anong may tradisyon na meron sila. At kung anong ginagawa nila sa holiday. So, the number 3 is awareness of the broader social, economic, and political context. Now, I'm gonna tackling about the essential elements of CRCM. So, Winston, Tomlinson, Clark, and Coran developed 5 concepts of CRCM. And last, the commitment to building caring classroom communities. Students often make decisions of what they do in class based on their perception of whether or not the teacher cares about them. So, students are more likely to succeed if they feel connected to school and a positive, respectful relationship with teachers. Yes. May mga estudyante na malayong-malayo ang loob sa mga guro. And it is sad to know na kasi pangalawang magulang ang mga guro. Lalo na kung kasi diba everyday yung class. Minsan lang magkakasama ang biological parents ng isang bata kaysa sa teacher. So, you as a teacher.
So, first, I want to introduce myself. My name is Marjorie Arnacar. My topic for today is about maintaining classroom control. So, it is the action of teachers to establish and sustain an environment that fosters students' academic achievement as well as their social, emotional, and moral growth. So, ito ay ang mga aksyon na ginagampanan ng mga guro upang patatagin at mapanatili ang isang kapaligiran na nagpapaunlad sa mga estudyante ng akademikong tagumpay, pati rin ang kanilang panlipunan na emotional at moral na pagbabago. So, we have the importance of classroom control. To sustain an orderly learning environment for students. So, upang mapanatili ang maayos na kapaligiran sa mag-aaral. At meron din tayong 5 ways to keep classroom control. First, to establish set rules. Ang mga panuntunan sa silid-aralan ay itinakda na turuan ng mag-aaral ng wasto at ligtas na paraan upang kumilos sa loob ng silid-aralan.
at gayon at pagpapabuti ng pag-aaral ng mag-aaral. So, for example, ay ang pagtaas ng kamay bago magsalita, umalis sa upuan, makinig, at sundin ang mga direction o makinig sa guro kapag nagsasalita. Example also, ang pagtatapon ng basura sa tamang lalagyan. Pangalawa, or the second, keep regular routine. Will creating routines help you manage all there is to accomplish in the classroom every day, but it also provides much needed structure for your students. Ang paglikha ng mga gawain ay makakatulong sa iyo na pamahalaan ang lahat ng dapat gawin sa silid-aralan araw-araw. Ngunit nagbibigay din ito ng kinakailangang istruktura para sa iyong mga mag-aaral. Example, enter the room quietly and answer the question of the day, put supplies away, and then put chairs. And the last example is check floor for trash. So the third ways is the hold and maintain high expectations. So have an attitude that you expect the best out of student at all time. So kung mayroon na tayong mga rules at routine, so dito na mabubuo ang expectation natin bilang isang future educator. Magkakaroon na tayo ng parang expectation na magagawa na nila lahat dahil nga sa mga rules at routine, like raise a quiet hand, be a considerate and respectful, hand in assignment on time, follow the classroom rules. Ayan na nga ang mga alituntunin ng isang paaralan. At ang pang-apat, the 4 ways to keep classroom control is don't talk over your students. Para sa pagtingin ng mga mag-aaral ay pantay-pantay ang pagtato mo sa kanila. O let's say, para maging mas ma-focus sila sa kanilang ginagawa. At ang panglima ay ang use a variety of classroom management techniques. Ito ay tinitiyak din nito na ang mga mag-aaral ay malamang na malantad sa mga estratehiya na naaayon sa kanilang ginustong individual na estilo ng pag-aaral. Example is ang perpektong pag-uugali. Hayaan natin na tumulong ang mga mag-aaral na patatagin ng mga alituntunin o pagdaos ng mga party. So, that's all.
Methods of control. So, all the topics discussed point out classroom organization and control. So, at this point, we are ready to adapt an specific control techniques. So, the first technique was the behavior modification.
Behavior modification. Applied behavior analysis involves a systematic performance-based, self-evaluative method of studying and changing socially important behavior.
Behavior modification, this focuses on the behavior of the children. This can help your student to change the behavior by step. This is also designed to change the behavior of the children, not a personal characteristic on traits. Example, children getting rewards for positive behavior, like doing chores or controlling their temper. In this way, the positive behavior of doing chores would continue and the negative behavior of having a hard-to-control temper would decrease or stop happening.
Strategies for using behavior.
First, know your target for you as a teacher to know if ano pa nga behavior ang karuyag mo baguhon han bata. Second, know the circumstances surrounding the behavior for you to know if there will be an influence of the student behavior in their surrounding. Third, know your students so that you know what reinforces.
Rewards and punishment. A well-established principles in psychology is what certain behaviors that are reinforced, they tend to be repeated. Conversely, behaviors that are not reinforced tend to decrease or disappear. Some rewards and privileges can encourage desirable behaviors. Some rewards and privileges frequently used by the teachers.
Rewards and punishment. So, reinforced means that napapa-strengthen mo ang behavior han bata. So, for example, if ang bata imo praise hapag tipig niya han iya mga gamit, uutro-utrohon niya iton nga iya action, kay tungod praise siya. If ang bata naman, imo isgan kay tungod na kahimo hiyahin sala, diri na ito niya uutrohon nga action.
Punishments and penalties. Punishment and penalties, unlike rewards, are used to discourage infractions of important rules and procedures. Teachers should be careful about the punishment they use. Sometimes the punishment may not really remedy the problem.
Punishment and penalties. Ginagamit upang pigilan ang mga paglabag sa mahalagang tuntunin at pamamaraan. This is for student na diri na mautro ang action na iya ginhimo or bad behavior na iya ginpakita. So, for example, ang duwa nga bata nagsusuntukan, so teachers that will send notice or call to their parents because of their actions.
Assertive discipline maintains the idea that teachers can gain control of their classroom by insisting on appropriate student behavior and by responding assertively to student infractions. Teachers should identify the misbehaving student by name and keep an eye on the student.
Assertive discipline. This was developed by Lee and his wife, Marlene Cantor. This helps teachers to gain idea to control of their classroom, of their appropriate student behavior.
Hi, I'm Eldeline Humagdao. Me and Angela Lacaba will discuss about managing student misbehavior. Objectives. By the end of discussion, we will learn the following. Discuss the 3 reasons why students misbehave, and learn how to prevent or reduce student misbehavior. So before that, for me, student misbehavior is a negative attitude that affect the learning of the students. What is student misbehavior? According to my research, student misbehavior can be defined as a student's action or interaction that disrupts or distracts the flow of the learning processes. That is, any behavior that is inappropriate in the classroom can be termed as a student's misbehavior. Most often, this behavior are negative attitudes such as students' failure to participate in activities, disrespect, excessive sociability, partial or negative participation, not listening to the teacher, being rude, noisy, and etc. I have here example situation of some student misbehavior. Babasahin ko na lang to kasi wala to sa PowerPoint na kalaki. Mr. Fred is a grade 7 English language teacher. His Friday lessons start in the morning between 8:40 a.m. to 9:20 a.m. He is always punctual in his lessons. Levan is a member of Mr. Fred's class. He always comes to school late. He is always late to enter in the classroom. When entering the class, Levan drags his feet on the ground, producing a disrupting noise in the class. One day, during Levan's grand entry into the class, one of his friends shouted, "Stop, what are you doing?" Hearing this, Levan rushed towards that girl, trying to hit her butt. His friends held them and stopped him. This never seemed to be. Friends held them and stopped him. This never seemed to be the last from Levan. Now Mr. Fred tried to continue his lessons and asked Levan to bring out his homework. He replied, "I didn't do it." Mr. Fred asked, "Why?" Levan said, "Nothing." Mr. Fred exclaimed, "That is a 0." Levan yelled, "I am not a machine. We have plenty of homework from other teachers too." So Mr. Fred continued his lesson. About 10 minutes later, Levan started humming to himself. Mr. Fred stood in front of the class and shouted, "Stop making noise, Levan," and continued his lesson. Levan stopped humming around for a short while and started again. Mr. Fred responded by shouting, "Stop the noise," and continued to answer another student's question. This continued between Mr. Fred and Levan until the end of the lesson. And this is how Levan has been behaving in Mr. Fred's class. Mr. Fred is frustrated and is looking for solution to his behavior. So, sa sitwasyon na to, na binasa ko, si Levan is isa sa mga student misbehavior. Mga masasamang attitude na pinapakita niya sa school ay hindi maganda. Katulad na lamang ng pagiging late sa school, pagdadating sa school, late siya pumupunta, at pag pupunta siya sa school, na inaano pa niya yung paa niya, pinupuspos, parang gano'n ang tawag sa Tagalog. Yung when entering the class, Levan dragged his feet in the ground, producing a disrupting noise in the class. And isa pa yung pagpapalo sa puwet ng kaklase niya, pinalo niya. Hindi pagiging responsible sa activities, hindi siya nagpasa ng homework niya kahit binibigay ng, at sinabihan pa niya ng teacher niya o sumigaw pa siya sa teacher niya. Palagi silang nagtatalo din kanyang teacher kasi hindi nakikinig si Levan sa kanyang guro. So, the question is, why students misbehave in the class? Reasons why students misbehave in your class. There are so many reasons why students misbehave in the class. We have 3 factors. As student, first, student, second, teacher, and third, environmental and societal factors. Student factors. Student factors are those emanating from the student and his or her personality. Some of these factors are impulsivity, personal skill deficiency, belief deficiency. First, impulsivity. This is a personality factor that makes the student react quickly to actions without much prior thought. That is when the student faces a situation, he or she spends less time thinking through it before putting up responsive behavior. This means the more prone students are to react quickly to issues without thinking through them, the more they are likely to misbehave in class. Those they are less likely to control themselves in situations. Like, sample na lang kanina yung sample ko, si Levant. Sumigaw lang siya sa teacher niya. Hindi niya inisip kung ano yung sasabihin niya sa kung maganda ba or pangit yung sinabi niya sa kanyang guro. Second, personal skill deficiency. This happens when the student lacks certain skills that will help him or her cope with the classroom environment and or other students. For instance, when students lack personal skills such as empathy, knowledge of desired social behavior, self-discipline, etc., they are more likely to misbehave in the classroom. Yung kakulangan sa lacking sa skill, tulad ng pag hindi magaling sa pagpuliyat. Ang pagpuliyat, Tagalog puliyat. O sumigaw pa siya sa teacher niya. Palagi silang nagtatalo din kanyang teacher kasi hindi nakikinig si Levan sa kanyang guro. So, the question is, why students misbehave in the class? Reasons why students misbehave in your class. There are so many reasons why students misbehave in the class. We have 3 factors. As student, first, student, second, teacher, and third, environmental and societal factors. Student factors. Student factors are those emanating from the student and his or her personality. Some of these factors are impulsivity, personal skill deficiency, belief deficiency. First, impulsivity. This is a personality factor that makes the student react quickly to actions without much prior thought. That is when the student faces a situation, he or she spends less time thinking through it before putting up responsive behavior. This means the more prone students are to react quickly to issues without thinking through them, the more they are likely to misbehave in class. Those they are less likely to control themselves in situations. Like, sample na lang kanina yung sample ko, si Levant. Sumigaw lang siya sa teacher niya. Hindi niya inisip kung ano yung sasabihin niya sa kung maganda ba or pangit yung sinabi niya sa kanyang guro. Second, personal skill deficiency. This happens when the student lacks certain skills that will help him or her cope with the classroom environment and or other students. For instance, when students lack personal skills such as empathy, knowledge of desired social behavior, self-discipline, etc., they are more likely to misbehave in the classroom. Yung kakulangan sa lacking sa skill, tulad ng pag hindi magaling sa pag-drawing, pananalita, socialize, nahihiya sila kaya parang yung isa yun sa rason kung bakit nag-misbehave yung isang estudyante sa school kasi nahihiya sila, kukulangan sa skill, hindi na napapakita sa kung ano sa school kasi kukulangan sa skill. So the third last, belief deficiency. The belief of students sometimes lead them to misbehave in the classroom. This misbehavior are classified here. For example, some students believe that some courses or subjects are not important in school. And because of that, they tend to put behaviors that are disruptive against teachers of those courses. Misbehavior antecedents such as that are considered a belief deficiency. Belief deficiency na sinabi dito na hindi nila niniwala na importante yung kurso or subject na ito, kaya hindi nila binibigyang pansin. Tulad ng mga subject na math. Hindi nila siniseryoso kasi ito, yung X kasi, yung mga exponent. Ba't naman inaral yan yung mga ganyan na ba't naman yan dinidiscuss na hindi naman yun magagamit sa sa labas pag bumibili, hindi naman yan magagamit. Tas isa pa, kaya sila naniniwala kasi sila na mahirap yung math, kaya yun, hindi nila binibagyang pansin. Hindi importante sa kanila yung subject na yan kasi naniniwala sila na mahirap yung subject na ito. Ganyan.
The second factor is teacher factor. Teacher factor can cause the student misbehave in the classroom, the way they act. I will show you the 3 actions that can lead the student to misbehave in the classroom. Is failure to teach. If teacher failed to teach in the student, it can lead in the student to misbehave. They will go to school to learn, to gain, and to be a good student, good person. Because teacher is the second mother that we have. If they fail, it can affect us. It can affect student. This is not good. So, teach effectively so that student can and learn. Incorrect expectation. Teachers should not do this because it can lead in the student to misbehave in the classroom. Expecting too much not in the good way, it is not good. This is why the student misbehave in the classroom. Third is the inaccurate judgment. The teacher is not always in the side of one student because they have favoritism. It is not good. It can lead the student to misbehave, to treat you not good, to have bad habit because of what you do, because of what you're showing to them. So, stop doing it so that students should not have the bad habit that they gain in the teacher. Like us in the future educator, don't do this to your student someday so that they will respect you the way you wanted because you show them how to do good to others. The third factor that can lead the student to misbehave, the environmental and societal factor. The reason why the student misbehave in the classroom in this factor, first is the family. If the student don't have an attention in their home, they will do it in school. That can lead in the misbehavior of the student. The third is the sociability. And the second is the sociability. The student interacting someone that can lead misbehavior because this student thinking that they need to be in the higher one. The competition is there that can lead to the misbehavior of student.
The third is other responsibilities and works. Not always the student are just focused on school. Sometimes their student have the working student, the responsibilities, and the household. Sometimes it can cause the misbehavior student when you giving them so much task that can lead them to think too much and to act too much. So stop, just give them the good and the makakaupay to them. Don't pressure student too much so that they don't pressure themselves too much too. That can lead in the student misbehavior. How to deal and reduce the misbehavior student? Engage your student. You should know the point of view of the student, the passion, the concern, and the likes they have. If you know them, you will understand them, and they will appreciate you for understanding them. That it can deal and reduce, mababawasan ang masasamang pag-uugali ng bata. The second is engage your student and also respect them. If you respect them, they will respect you too. So what you show them, they will show it to you. You will gain respect from them because you're respecting them. And avoid zero tolerance discipline. Don't give them freedom. Yes, it is good, but it is not enough because it can lead in misbehavior bata, madakon ulo. So that, give them discipline. Tanan hira, tatagaan mo disiplina in the classroom. Like, giving a time to answering the activity, don't give them freedom. Papa-answeran mo yan next week mo pa ipapapasa. It is not good. It can be the student misbehavior in the classroom. So, avoid zero tolerance to student. Avoid zero tolerance discipline. And talk to them privately. Wag po tayong magpapahiya ng estudyante. Kasi, it can cause them to misbehave. They will not respect you because you're king papahiya mo hiya. So, remember that be good to talk to them privately and talk them in the good way. Last is try to understand them. Remember, if you understand the student, it will appreciate them. They will appreciate you. They will learn it to you so that be a good model. The following we should avoid as a teacher. First, yelling. Don't shout your student kasi it can lead them to misbehave. Talk to them in a good way. If you want them to tell what they did wrong, then talk to them all. Don't and calm yourself so that you can think much than makakasakit ka bata. So, ayaw paggulian when you are mad. When kumukulo na yung dugo mo, pakalmahin mo, then doon ka na magsalita. and throwing object. It is not good because it is an object. It can lead the student hurt in physical that this teacher shall not do it. And that's all.